I know that this first one, he will not be here in person. I don't know if he's, I don't think he's gonna call in, but I think he would totally.
Was he gonna get on Zoom?
Do we have paperwork or?
I do,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And I'll let you open up the.
All right, I'd like to open up the meeting. The meeting of the Board of Abatement. Hello, everybody, welcome. So our first hearing is starting at 7, and it's for Roger Thompson. And the address is 453 Forestdale Road, Brandon, Vermont. Requesting abatement of sewer under 24 VSA 1535. You want me to read the rest of that or not? Okay. Well, it's sewer, water, utility, and service charges caused by circumstances that were difficult to foresee or outside of the person's control. And so what do we do if we don't have the person here?
We just move forward. They're not required to be there.
Okay.
So, but we just want to check on any conflict.
Yep, gotcha. Yeah, sure. So we can't do the oath.
No.
Is there anybody on the board that needs to disclose of any conflict of interest or any?
Don't know.
Okay. Now we would have asked to see if they had received the board rules, but they're not here.
I did send them
All
those.
right.
So I'm gonna hand out this letter of request and some other stuff. Which we will put. Yes,
Thank you, Steve.
welcome. More paper for me to recycle.
Is this number in the thousand?
He owes
1,700.
$2,264.98, but he was being brought to tax sale for his balance of $1,741.24.
How long has this been going on for?
Quite a while.
So are these sewer fees that accrue whether the,
Yeah, these are just base fees.
Right.
Because no one's living there, so there's no usage. I could not tell you why he hasn't disconnected from sewer and water, which he certainly could. He could give up his capacity and then he wouldn't have any charges.
right?
I believe there's a mobile phone there. You
Yeah,
know where the
I-
property is? Yeah. I could have sold it 20 times in the last.
Oh,
year.
sure, right. If you're going like to the elementary school and you go past the police station,
Mhm.
as you come up the rise, there's that little driveway on the right.
And it goes up in the field. behind
Yeah.
the
Oh,
station.
Okay, yep,
Yeah.
I know where that is.
I heard when they're not here, so I asked.
Right,
Yeah, any
right.
questions? Like,
And is he saying circumstances, his circumstances or the circumstances of the problem, the water problem? You know what I'm saying? I think he's saying his circumstance.
So basically, I mean, it sounds to me like his is like, I've never lived there, even though I own the property and therefore I shouldn't have to pay.
And why is the water bill 129? And the sewer bill 2,200?
Cause he must have paid that at some point. I guess he has an issue with sewer. Right,
I don't have the sewer, so I guess he pays sewer separate from the water.
no, they're paid together.
So how do he do that?
If he specifically sent in a check and said, pay just water,
Oh, okay.
that can be done, or else he paid water ahead of time, or maybe he said, is, well, I don't know the water situation, because they're different municipality than we are. He could have had his water disconnected for all I know. I mean, maybe he said.
And neglected to disconnect the sewer. So he said it'd be helpful if he was here to
I know.
know that.
Can we,
Can we-
encourage them to? Then,
Can we table this until we can hear from him?
I don't think we're going to hear from him. He's an older guy, and he just said, I can't drive all over the ground, and. If we do it maybe in the middle of the day, we could table it, have a meeting in the middle of the day, but that would be tough for a lot of people. to
Yeah.
make it, I think.
In your opinion, Sue, has he ever lived there? I mean, did he live there before he went to take care of his father, or he bought it and has never lived in it?
I don't know when he bought it. I don't.
It doesn't-
know
yeah,
any of
that's-
that. I haven't.
Yeah, he just says,
Sure, we're not missing. Doesn't say.
he just says this property has never had anyone living there.
That's what he
And
claimed.
he says the water or sewer has been used. Do you think he meant has never been used?
Water, sewer. I don't know what he did.
How long's?
I
How long
finally
has it
found a
been?
phone number for him, and I called him the other day to sort of fill him in a little bit, because I sent him a letter and asked him the number for him, and he got back to me.
How long has been going on? Since he hasn't.
Years. Been going on for quite a while.
he says has never had anyone living there. I've never seen anyone in and out of that driveway.
No,
Do we want to try calling him and putting him on speaker? Or is
we
that
should try
more
that.
effort than-
My phone is gonna die.
Oh, I can.
I tried, there's a phone number there. 802-453 on this thing.
One more question before you call him.
Yeah.
Does he own real estate, or is he just
Yeah.
own the trailer? Real estate. So if this goes to tax sale and somebody buys it, he has a year to pay or sell the property, which it would seem in Brandon at this point, you can sell just about anything. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't have the lawyer letter, his number.
Oh, okay.
It took me a few calls, you can see I put the letter number below, it's like down there.
Do we know what we're gonna ask him though, guys, when we get him on the phone? Anybody got a-
Whether he attempted to have the sewer turned off or the water turned.
but he's current on his real estate tax, so. Oh,
It
interesting.
would be possible to write the questions down
know.
ahead of time,
Yeah.
so when I say,
Try again.
so, yeah, let's get the question.
Let's do that.
Right.
So I'm writing down, did you attempt to turn off the sewer, give up your capacity, which would eliminate the bills?
How long has he owned the property? Is this 10 years or 20 years or 4 years?
Yeah, it would help to know how long he's owned it.
Why
We
did
noticed that he didn't seem to be accruing water bills, and we're wondering if he had been paying water but not sewer, or turned off the water.
why he hasn't tried to address this before?
So we have no clue how long he's,
It's
a
not
number of
clear.
years, yeah, it is a number of years. 5 or 6 or 7 years.
so maybe he was, sounds like maybe he was paying it sometime, and then.
It might have been, I don't know how long he's, or did he, I don't know how long he's been property, I don't know if he's got. He came out of the blue,
Gotcha.
and he also wrote this letter and never gave me any kind of phone number. I go to deep dive to find that phone number. I will call the clerk and,
Oh, it's Stark's problem.
so we've got 4 questions.
Who would like to ask him?
Yeah, no.
I can.
Yeah, exactly what that is.
Do you want,
Yeah.
want to take my
That's
phone, or,
maybe
I
good
mean,
for-
oh, I just had it up too, sorry, there it
That's
is,
fine.
let me,
Well, it's cheaper though.
just make sure.
It's a number he doesn't know.
It's on.
Oh, yeah, he might not answer it. I don't think he's got, I think that right. Hi, Roger. This is Sue Gage calling from the town of Brandon. We've chatted before. We're actually in your hearing right now, and we had some questions for you, and we were hoping that you could answer them. I'm gonna ask them over your answering machine, and maybe you can get it back to me, the answers. One is, have you ever attempted to turn off your sewer capacity so that we don't have sewer charges? Number two is, how long have you owned the property? Number three is, you're not accruing any water charges, and we were curious whether you'd shut your water off, if your water charges are much lower than your sewer charges. And number four, why haven't you addressed this issue earlier? Why did you wait till it went to tax sale? If you get this message, you can call this phone number back and we will be happy to listen to you. All right, thank you. Oh.
You won't know how to see the phone.
Yeah, I realized that.
Yeah, actually, you should.
He's probably not that
Wait, we call him one more time.
tech savvy,
It
my guess.
It needs the number.
Yeah, what's the phone number?
802, 236. 912. Oops,
That helps. That's so used to my number coming up, but. I don't know, dial someone. Roger, it's Sue Gage calling again from the town of Brandon and our meeting. If you get this message and can answer any of those questions for us, please call this phone number tonight. 802-236-9112. If it's tomorrow, you can call me at my office at 802-247-3635, extension 203. Thank you. That's better.
I'm gonna call it.
Okay. So,
We have questions and no answers, so
Maybe table this and move on.
I think we should set the table and move it on, close this hearing at this point. And I guess, let's maybe close the hearing, but
Leave open for new evidence.
leave open for new evidence. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Or at least information. And if I hear back from him. And we can get into it when we are in the further session too.
right.
Thanks.
Look at that. 2 minutes early.
Perfect.
And are you Chelsea?
I am.
How you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. Is it, and then the other is Renee?
Yeah, that's my mom.
Oh, that's your mom. Okay, I got you. All right. So you are up next.
Jason?
Yes. And, so shall I state everything here? Or,
Yep, she'll have to take a. her
the oath, yeah.
Yep.
All right, so well, first here we'll start right in with the oath. And actually, it says for taxpayers and witnesses to take the following oath. Under the pains and penalties of perjury, do you solemnly swear that the evidence you give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And then, do we have any conflict of interest or communication? No. Okay.
I don't, this, and you're used to this, but Chelsea came early and we went through the paperwork and stuff and she helped me gather up a few more things, so.
Oh, nice. All
Okay.
right.
But that's normal.
And then have you received the copy of the board rules and procedures?
Yeah.
And any questions on that?
I do not have any questions.
Okay. And then,
Thank you again, sir.
can you identify the statutory abatement category that the abatement request is being made under?
Yes, 24 PSA 1535, taxes or charges of persons who are unable to pay their taxes, charges, interest, or collection.
Perfect. All right, so now actually this is your time to tell us and show us what you've got and.
Okay. So basically, I had filed for abatement. I've been single alone since my son was 3. I've pretty much lived in this trailer since then. But I have always had trouble keeping up on all my bills and utilities, throughout that whole time. Currently, after COVID, I lost my job for about a year and a half. And so I'm still trying to catch up from all of that. I've gotten to the point where I've got everything else caught up, utilities and rent and things, just in the last few months. So this is kind of the last thing that I'm trying to fix to get back on track with everything. And I did bring, some copies of different, like payments that I've attempted to make and also like recent payments that I've made that were on time and show no balance for the last few months, just to kind of show that I'm in a better position now to be making the payment.
Gotcha.
Also, I should include, Renee is my mom,
Okay,
but she lives in Pennsylvania. She's never been here once. She purchases for me because I kept getting evicted and put on the street during my divorce and being a single mom. And so she just wanted me to kind of have a place to live, and so that's why her name was on there.
gotcha.
I do have a bill of sale from her from years ago, but because I've never been able to pay the taxes off fully, I've never been able to actually transfer that and get her name off of it.
And that's a, just so you know, that's a statutory requirement, like the code comes in with a mobile home bill of sale, everything has to be paid up and phone before I can record it.
Gotcha.
I would like to also add that Chelsea took advantage of some of the state programs that were happening at the time. And was able to get a handle on her utilities. And she attempted to do the same with taxes, but because of her mom owning it,
She wasn't, okay.
and I talked to, we spent a long time talking, I was talking to the people at the state, they were talking to me, we were trying to figure out how to make it work. I was trapped in I can't accept the transfer until this is paid. It was a really sticky situation, or she could have gotten some help with that at the time too.
Gotcha. Oh, gotcha. Right,
This
right,
was
right.
all
Right,
during
that makes, gotcha.
COVID.
Yep.
Yeah. And the other thing, because her mom owns it, she can't get a homestead, which would also.
Right.
Protect and.
Right.
Income, so, it's a people.
So the number that we're looking at is the $6,698.50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're asking, will you make that moving forward, you'll be able to,
Even, partially or just even fees and penalties being waived, just anything to kind of help me be able to catch up better. And not.
you mentioned you're not getting child support?
I do not know. We share custody, so it was just an agreement that we weren't gonna go after each other for anything. And he's now 16, almost done.
Oh, okay.
He's not little anymore.
I was gonna say, there was a chance that, even though you had that agreement, whether, the father would be willing to kick in.
Definitely.
Been there.
It's a mobile home on land that you own or rent land?
So it's plot rent, so it's in a trailer,
Real
but I
quick.
do just own the trailer.
Okay.
And rent them.
And she did bring along, if you guys are interested, to show that she's been paying her green power bill and her lot rent, which is not $415 a month for that lot.
So yeah, this is a pine tree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
450.
15.
$415,
But still.
Still. So, yeah,
yeah.
shoot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I'm sure it's gonna seem like a weird question, but do you file an income tax return?
I do.
You do, okay. Because if we abate this and you get your mom's name off it, then with that, you can file for the state rebate, which will pay a really big portion of this
Okay.
tax each year going forward.
Okay.
Won't go back, but you want to have someone help you with the rebate form and with the not much income and the tax, and they would pay a very good chunk of it for you. Yeah.
I'm surprised when they don't.
That to me would be a reason to abate, that's because with that and going forward,
You'd be able to find.
we would be able to get,
And then
help her out and help the town out, because then we would be receiving taxes on the property.
anything else that you think we should know?
Is this one also, did you get a tax sale?
Yeah.
Letter you did too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did attach that at the end.
I know they suggest. Well, they don't suggest monthly payments. Guess
They
that was the
do.
other one.
There is a section for that. I'm not sure.
Oh, $558.21.
Do you know roughly what year the mobile home is?
I believe it's 2006.
I did her tax bills in there, so you can see the value. It's definitely on the higher end, I would say. And have you and Jackie worked, have you reached out to Jackie to set up a payment plan?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, she was able to drop that payment down to like 420 a month. And extended it to like an 18-month period, if this falls through, which is much better than 586. And I do have that in place with her to start in June, since I just made the quarterly payment this month. If anything falls through, so I can have that.
just so you all know, like this shortly, like within a week, probably, everything's gonna go to lawyers, and then there can be no more payment plans. Everybody is gonna have to pay the lawyer in full and get out of tax sale, so there's a real
Okay.
change in tenor of how the tax sales are. being
Okay.
handled going forward
Okay.
Shortly.
Okay.
The only other thing I would tell you is that irregardless of how this goes tonight, if it goes to tax sale and somebody buys it, you still have 1 year to pay that off so that somebody else does not take over your home, so that you have a year from the tax sale date, if that happens. Okay,
Any other questions? Okay. So, we can close this with you. And then we're gonna see someone else, and then we're gonna go into deliberative session. And then you'll receive a written decision on. Then we come within 30 days, but Sue likes to be known as she does it faster. Yeah. But no,
Did you
thank,
want any other copies of like current bills,
Oh,
utility bills or anything?
sure,
Yeah, you can leave them with me, and then we can put them into evidence. and
Yeah,
pass them
yeah,
during the
yeah.
hearing.
where do you work?
I work for Walgreens. I was here in Brandon, since
That's where I've
February.
seen you.
Yeah.
Why?
I know. I would say 2.5 years ago I've been there. I just recently got a promotion, and I had to move to the Middlebury store to
Okay.
get that promotion. So I've been up there for a couple of months now.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Congratulations.
yeah.
Like, yes, you can.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you, guys.
I
Thank you.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'll be in touch.
You think the third gentleman's going, yeah, all right. Wow, good time.
Awesome.
Hi there.
Whoa. Good. No,
No, that's for select board meeting.
It's an old board. And you're David? Hi there, how are you?
Good.
Okay. I'm Wendy Rowe Feldman and helping chair the meeting.
Okay.
Welcome. Let's see. So shall I state everything? Do I state David's name and everything, or how do you like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what the board is gonna see is the written one, but I can keep that handy for, or I can put it in the middle. You got a couple.
You're on.
I'll just put a couple out with this stuff so that they can look at it if they need to. How's that?
So David, I'm just gonna state your address and everything and pronounce, is it David Field? Byfield, all right. You're 93 Union, 935 Union Street here in Brandon.
Thank you.
24 VSA 1535, taxes or charges of persons who are unable to pay their taxes, charges, interest, and or collections fees. And I'll just do an oath with you. Ready? Under the pains and penalties of perjury, do you solemnly swear that the evidence you give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? All right. And do we have any conflict of interest or ex parte communication?
No.
Okay,
No.
all right. And if you, did you receive a copy of the board's rules of procedure and do you have any questions on how the hearing will work?
Sure, but I got the notice of it.
Yeah, and there was a little sheet. If not, I can give you one right now. Looks kind of like that. I usually try to get those out with so this is sort of how we walk through things. And no one's here seen anything yet, so it'll take up a few minutes if it's familiar with it. And then
I noticed that I'm looking at your tax bill and I noticed that you do not have the homestead exemption.
I have to know.
Do you file income taxes? Okay, so yeah, so this is the thing about the homestead taxes, even if you don't have enough money, make enough money to have to file taxes, the only way you can get the homestead exemption is by filing taxes. And so basically you just file a tax form that shows that you don't have to pay them, but then you can still get your homestead exemption. So,
And the less you make, the more they pay, so. You know, in order of doing that, I know a lot of people feel that they don't.
Yeah.
There are people who get a refund, so
yeah,
Yep.
they pay all their taxes and they get a refund.
yeah.
Or definitely. Yeah, yeah.
So, and up until a certain amount, like the education tax is always like the biggest part of these tax bills. And up to a certain amount of income, the state will pay all of that. So it's really worth doing, even if you don't normally have to pay taxes.
Yeah, and that's something like I've already made an arrangement with Jackie, that's something I could renegotiate with her if I get that number comes down.
Well, it's only every tax year, so when you file, so every year you need to file that homestead, declaring your homestead and letting the state know how much income you have, so it's done annually, it's only for the current tax year.
Yeah, so this is something moving forward
So,
to think
right, so
about.
if you did it now, it would affect the tax bill, it's gonna be coming to you in July, and then next April you could do it again. You need to affect the next year, so it's an annual filing that you need to do. I highly recommend it, and I'm happy to help you with it if you need help with it. Yeah, I did, give it, yeah. Yeah. I have a quick question. Do you currently have a mortgage on this property? I do not.
That is an option if I have to, I may be able to get one, I'm not sure.
And I say that simply because our interest rates, the interest rates that you're accruing right now are basically 18% a year. So you could you'd be better off paying it with a credit card, you know, when it the interest rates are high, so a mortgage is gonna be less, you know,
Monthly payment.
reasonable, yeah. But then obviously proof of employment for a bank, although you do have equity, I mean, you have equity in your house, so.
Yeah.
I'm,
kind of self-employed.
pretty,
Hard to call my boss.
yeah. I know, this is one of those. My husband's carpenter. I know that. And he always said, take care of your back. Back is the most important thing, your back and your feet.
That was one of my first surgeries.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have set up a payment plan with Jackie at this point?
And so, you don't mention, I'm wondering, medical bills, you have medical bills from all this, or was that? Okay, okay. Right.
Did you feel like the payment plan that you made with Jackie, I mean, I guess my biggest thing is. Like, if we were to abate or whatever, or, I mean, can you manage stuff going forward? You know, that's the biggest thing, like, I mean, sometimes people just can't, they can't do it, like, they kind of really think outside the box, and is that something that you can?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think so. But it's kind of nice that people who get to work. I'm no longer, in the pain.
Yeah.
How long have you owned 935 Union? I don't remember. So you were able to pay your taxes regularly before this problem.
Well,
hit. Yep, okay.
So that's not paying things came with the medical situation that you were in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So around say 2017. Yeah.
So are you doing different jobs now or?
Fortunately, a lot of my original customers and, they use that.
Sure. People are always looking for people,
Yeah.
jobs.
So I mean, it won't be-
Yeah,
For this summer, it looks like, could be pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, that's easy.
That's personal.
you might get some jobs out of tonight. I mean, seriously. Seriously.
How old are you, David?
So what is the total number we're looking at?
So the total owned. Is the taxes of 26,231.22. That's not what sent him to. Less than that on the letter for taxes.
Right.
And then utilities of 3,350.33. So about just under 30,000.
Okay, gotcha.
That's accruing interest at 18%.
Right, sorry, that's not the total, no, the total, that's what was on the tax bill, so the total is, in taxes though, is 28,434.83, and water and sewer is 6,510.73, so around 35,000.
Okay.
And that, yes, and that number includes penalties and interest, and yeah, most of those numbers are accruing at the interest of 18%.
Okay.
But just to give you some information that, you mentioned that you could apply for a loan. And, you know, you've got less than a 50% loan to value ratio, which is really good. But you have to show income, which is probably very difficult for you at this time if you haven't been, you know, self-employed people have to usually show tax returns, and that doesn't work for you. If, depending on the outcome of this hearing and abatement, if the tax sale went through, I just want you to understand all of it, you still have one full year from that date of that tax sale that you can pay the taxes off by getting a loan or something like that. So you don't get kicked out of your house in 3 days. So that's just to put you at ease, okay? And, you know, I would clearly tell you if we were able to, however, we're able to move on, you know, that it's well worth your filing a tax return, filing the prebate, you know, based on your low income and whatever. I can't say exactly what you'd get, but they can pay all of the education portion of your tax bill. So your current tax bill of almost 2,500 a year is 1,600 is education and 800 to the town. So the state would pay close to 1,600 of that for you annually with that. So that's, you know, that's really well worth finding someone that can do the paperwork. I don't know, Sue might know who in town does it. I know I have someone do it for me because I'd never work my way through that paper, but yeah, but it's not very much, you know, and it would well be worth it for you, because again, the less income,
Probably had people.
oh, I'm sure the state does.
I mean, if your income is low enough, there's like forms that you can file that are like just really easy forms, and then like the homestead application would be probably
Yeah,
the more
okay.
difficult part of that, but.
I give them all of that.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
retreat form too. So,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
does have
so-
that.
Yeah, and not only, I mean, if your income is low enough, not only will they pay the education, they'll also pay the municipal. I mean, it can work out.
Yeah,
Like
it's,
to-
it's too bad that somebody hadn't caught you up with that, you know, while you were having those medical problems and had no income, because you wouldn't be in this boat right now, you know, and
Indeed.
unfortunately, the state doesn't go back prior years, so,
Yeah,
just at least want
They
you to
don't
know.
tell you what you're missing.
well, yeah, I mean, it's like, it's a great program and the state is, you know, it's great that they have it. They could do a little better job of, I mean, Sue actually every
I
year
try to, and I'm
posts
sorry
on
I
Front
missed
Porch
you.
Forum,
I
and
do
and
put
she
stuff
does try and
out.
catch people when she sees it come
And then I
through. but-
do letters every fall, but it's based on people who filed in the past, and I probably never did, so I wouldn't have picked that up, you know, I would assume that. Because if you were like, if you owned the house and you were renting it out, you couldn't do that, so I would assume
Yeah.
sometimes like,
Right.
I try to send letters to everybody, but I miss a few, and I apologize for that.
Well,
But your health, so the health concerns are now, I mean, you still got arthritis stuff, but it's
normal
Handle
50-year-old
normal
stuff.
50-year-old stuff.
I'm not, you know, I'm on my feet for more than 4 or 5 hours, my hip starts to fall every year.
Okay.
But that's normal, you know, it's not like it used to be, I would wake up and take painkillers.
Okay,
Compared to what you've gone through, the
Yeah,
arthritis pain is nothing, right?
yeah.
You've
Yeah.
been through a struggle, and I
Yeah.
applaud you for getting through it.
my gut thing happened there.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be like hip, what hip? Yeah, I totally get that.
Your health is your wealth, like, that's your grandfather would say all the time. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
My grandmother was the only one of her family that made it past 50.
Wow.
All her brothers and sisters had similar tests.
Oh, geez.
And then she had 5 kids.
Yeah, there you go, you came to the right team for it.
Well,
Is there anything else you think would be helpful for us to know, or that we haven't asked you?
No. It'd be, hopefully going forward, and depending on what the economy does, should be able to, you know, make payments. And, but I talked to Jackie, because that took me off of this with the lawyers. I'd rather negotiate with her than law.
So you have talked with, is she actually set up a payment plan for you? Is the number something you can handle?
I hope so. See, I think I'm good for June, first payment period.
Okay,
And then hopefully by then I'll have to do. And she even said I could do like a weekly thing. I think like whatever that total number is, if I want to pay it.
Gotcha.
yeah, sometimes it's that coming up with a
Yeah.
something every.
I do believe that if there's a payment plan and you're on it, then you also pull it from the tax sale, so. You know, that gives you time. And it's, as Sue was saying, it's clear that if you're able to get some sort of a mortgage, it would. The ongoing cost would be certainly less.
Yeah.
So,
And that's what I'm doing to pay. Yeah, I'm gonna get on.
well,
All right.
I personally wish you the best.
Thank you. Feel lucky, I'm not in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
I mean, we
Yeah.
went through quite a,
I'm not hooked up to any contraptions or anything, so. I've heard doors from people that.
Oh, yeah. Well, yours was a horror story, so.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was gonna be.
Yep.
Well, I just been forever.
Yeah, that's. Right.
right. Let's see. as procedure goes, Susha, it does say that we have to ask David about identifying the statutory abatement category, or we kind of already done it. No.
I think we're good.
Okay,
And
thank you.
that's-
It's in his application.
I know,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure. Fired here.
No, you're doing good.
All right, so let's see. All right, so we'll close this up, David, and the board will go into deliberative session right now. And Sue will issue a written decision within, Board of Oliver decision within 30 days, but it'll be sooner than that. Sue's on top of things.
Yeah, I think-
Yeah.
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 My husband
Well, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank
Be
you.
in touch.
Bye.
Right. so Stop everything.
Close the door.